So when I go to my drive, right, and you get there and like David showed that you can put your folders on top, or you can use the icon view or the list view. For whatever reason, I tend to default back to the list view more than the icon view. I don't know why. It's just how I get used to seeing things. But typically, and you can see I do actually have folders. I can't say that I use them at all, but they're there. I typically default when I'm in my Google Drive to going to the recent because that seems to be the things that I'm most likely looking for anyway. So that's the first tip that I have is to use your recents, especially if it's something that you've been working on in the close proximity of times or where you're at. But sometimes I have difficulty still finding things that are there. And so I've gotten used to just using the search bar and I'll type in a word like safer because I did some safer internet day stuff. And hey, I find a few things that I might be looking for. And maybe this is the folder that I'm actually looking for right there. And it's right there. And now I can see the stuff that's inside there. Right. That's one thing that I sometimes do. But sometimes when you just type safer, it doesn't give you the one that you're looking for. So if you then just return those results, it's going to give you everything that's in there that relates to that term safer. And there's different ways to sort that in that search. You can oftentimes what I find it by is the last modified. And if you click that topic, that name on the top of the topics there, it'll toggle it back and forth between the most recent and the oldest ones that are there. Okay. Not always can I find everything that I'm looking for because, I'm disorganized using this search term here. But if I were to type the word, for example, safer up here, and I know it's going to be something that I'm looking for, and I want to hit this advanced search or this, I call it a filter button, and I can then filter my search that has the word safer in it. And I can go by type or I can go by owner. I can go by if I know it's located in a folder in a shared drive somewhere, I can look there, as well as when did I last work on this particular item? Because sometimes I use things like maybe once a year, and if it's the same time every year, I know that then I can search for the same rough month period, just 1 year prior. But I oftentimes go back to this one by type. And if I know I'm searching for a Google Doc, I can choose Docs and it's going to filter out any spreadsheet or slideshow or form. And it's going to only pull up the Google Docs that relate to that. So you could see, hey, maybe this is the one that I wanted to find, and it is this one right here. And I can choose that one. Okay, that's one type of filter. I can also, if you see that I still have a lot of ones that are in there, I can narrow that down even further by choosing to add some other items to this. Like, for example, I want to find one that is going to be owned by a specific person. And if I type this specific person one in there, I'm just going to choose a name here. And sometimes that happens. You find out that your search got too specific. So I can then delete that from the filter and it brings me back to these different ones that are here. I can also choose to filter it even further. So, like David had said, you can go up to, Google gives you different ways of doing things. So, here's one way is to go into the advanced search part here. The other way is I can just add them right here based upon the different filter I want to use. So, maybe instead, I want to say just the last 7 days. And you can see now it changed some of those results that I had because of that. So using these filters and is a great way to help locate things, specifically if you're not a great organizer like me.